So you know what I decided to do today, Jack?
No.
It was 90 degrees, so I decided this would be the perfect day to go outside and start up the barbecue and stand in front of a 500-degree fire and cook.
You make a lot of bad decisions, don't you?
Well, I don't think that one can be blamed on me. Isn't it weird that we decide to do like that, the hottest cooking, that where you have the most like direct contact with fire in the hottest months of the year?
I don't do that.
Well, okay, people with friends and family.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's fair then. I try to hide in my little hermit hole as much as possible.
I kind of get it because you got the picnic kind of vibe, but it actually makes more sense to cook like that when it's snowing outside.
Yeah, or like autumn. That's what I do on my grilling and
outside. Yeah. Anyway, hi guys, welcome to the show. I'm Monkey. I think that's plenty of time to help people with ads. But guys, I'm Monkey. This is Monkey in the Morning. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing today, my friend?
Yeah, doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good. No real complaints today. Didn't have to hit the inhaler, and my shoulder wasn't bothering me. It was a pretty good day.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, I don't really know how to deal with that. You know what I think it is? I think it's that I came to terms with racism today, and it took care of my spine issues, which were clearly caused by racism.
Yeah. I mean, happy Juneteenth or whatever.
Juneteenth.
Stupid thing is called. Yeah. Good job.
Look, guys, we are going to talk about some really stupid people tonight, and I thought as a primer, we could watch this stupid shit from a new show. What's it called? New Amsterdam?
Yeah, it's not a new show. It's a couple years old.
Okay, a couple years old show. That is new to me. Put it that way.
Yeah. Before we start, though, real quickly, thank you, Cigar Chomping Penguin from before the stream, for the generous donation. Some things you and Monkey are forgetting regarding Nick. One, he has made a lot of enemies over the years. That's true. Two, he's showing no signs of remorse or humility. Yeah, we pointed that out.
We pointed that out repeatedly.
Yeah. But, I mean, you can't point it out enough, honestly. And three, judges can be petty as hell. One email to the right person and he gets the max sentence. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think more stuff is going to come out yet. So
about that last part specifically, there's no way he gets the max sentence on this. More would have to come out because they do have sentencing guidelines. And even if the judge decided to slap him with 25 years, it's just going to go in front of an appellate court who's going to go, this isn't even close to the guidelines. No.
Yeah, it would be reviewed real quickly. And you don't want to give them grounds for appeal.
St. Fugi says, you can't impress me. I've watched Ralph for years. Oh, well, let's see. Let's test that theory. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. And I mean that. I know I say that a lot, the dumbest thing I've ever heard or something like that. I mean that. It's got to be top 10.
Well, we were talking about very special episodes yesterday.
True.
So that's kind of what brought this to mind. And then I ran across the clip and I was like, oh, Providence, you smile upon me.
As his life is seemingly free from all this because he can't name it, he's internalizing it.
Name what?
Racism. I think your son's tumor was caused by racism.
Yep, that's a real thing. Somebody wrote and put into TV form and put out into the world. I think your son's tumor was caused by racism. I don't even know how to react other than that. How the absolute fuck did this make it onto television?
I don't know.
Unless this is an episode of House and this doctor is somebody that House is going to come along and make a complete fool out of. This does not belong on TV.
Yeah. Well, no, House was Sherlock Holmes, and this is more like Corky.
This is retarded.
Yep, Corky.
Did a racist give him cancer? Apparently. And if you watch I skipped like the first 20 seconds of it or whatever. He explains to the mom here that the kid he goes to school.
Okay. Yeah, it's an extended clip. The kid goes to school and he's struggling with all these problems. It's the buildup is amazing. Highly recommend you watch the whole clip. Oh, good choice, Simon. No, that was not a Sunny in Philadelphia sketch. It would be hilarious to be one, though. No, it's from a show called New Amsterdam. Oh, you're back.
This is going to be a long goddamn night. My computer's already starting.
The overheating of your connection is because of racism.
It's racism. Yes, that's what it is. By the way, if anybody is a computer expert out there, hit me up in my DMs. Explain to me why my Wi-Fi antenna on the computer side is overheating. Because that's the problem I've had the last week or two when I've been getting disconnected. It overheats, and I have to pull it out of its little slot, cool it off, and then put it back in there. And it's happened with two different. Okay, they're the same brand, so maybe it's a brand issue, but it's happened with two of them, and it's really starting to fuck with me. Don't you have Starlink now? I do. I've had Starlink for a while, but I use the AT&T when we're streaming lately, just because the Starlink has been very unreliable lately. So,
yeah.
If it's overheating, it's okay. It's the one. It's the USB antenna that goes into my computer that's overheating. Anyway, so there's your primer for the kind of stupid we're going to see tonight.
Yeah, that was the quality that you can expect, but it's gonna be a lot dumber from here on out and lower quality.
All right, so first off, I mentioned if anybody could send me the clip to what Rekieta was talking about when he was losing his shit about somebody telling him to worry about his online presence. And somebody was kind enough to send that to me, and oh dear God.
Yeah. Chick slabs.
Oh, I'm not familiar with the guy. What's his name again? I don't care. We'll see it in a second. It's something legally sounding. I don't much care. But he's the whole reason that Nick was losing his shit about that part. That's why a lot of what he's saying is clearly aimed at legal mindset during his little rant yesterday. But this part just didn't make any sense. So I'm glad to have some clarity on that, and we'll watch it in a second. Dark Resurrect, thank you so much for that. Feminist, $12. Now, hold on. That may explain why so many Democrats get cancer or tumors. It could be. It could be.
Oh, yeah.
Except, remember, it's the racism that was forced upon him. So it would be more accurate to say Democrats are causing cancer. And yes, lead attorney, that's his name, guys. That's his name. I don't want to judge the guy too harshly, but he's annoying.
Yeah. He has that like douchey used car salesman look.
I mean, he seems like a nice enough guy, but his voice drives me crazy. Anyway, this is him talking about it. This is in a 4-hour stream. He's kind enough to have it broken down for you, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know how many streams I have to just go through and jump and try to find the pertinent part? I had to do that with uncivil law just a little while ago, and don't worry, we'll get to him later. Anyhow, he looks like somebody famous.
Probably on a local car sales lot.
Oh, the NFL brothers. Fuck. One was a wideout, one was a defensive back. Fuck. One played for the Giants. Oh shit, what are their names? Somebody help me out in chat here.
Peyton Manning?
No.
Okay, I'm out of names.
I know you are.
It's OJ Simpson. He looks like he sells cologne.
Both of them went on to do commentary work. I don't know if they still are or not. The Barber brothers. That's who it is. I beat you to it. Yes, Tiki and Rondell. or Rondé Barber. Anyway, here we go.
And shout out to WG. WG says he has a trust fund. Okay, I did hear about the trust fund, something about it. I don't know how much is in it. I don't know if he has access to it or not, but let's just take the trust fund out of the equation since
now,
we don't know the details.
Reason I played this part is because the trust fund is actually important if he still has all of that access to all of that money, which unless he blew it all on coke for his kid, I'm guessing he still has some of it.
I would assume so.
As far as we know, he wasn't doing Hunter Biden levels of blow.
Well, I mean, we don't know. Maybe the kid was cutting up so much of it that he kept having to buy it. And he was like, where's all this blow going?
Do you know the pressure? How is he supporting the 7 people? He's doing it 2 words, social media.
Well, right now he's not, because 5 of them have been removed from the home.
That frees up
Just
a lot
saying.
of cocaine money.
You can talk about YouTube or Rumble contracts, this or that, social media. He has to get back on social media. Everybody's so concerned about the kids. The kids are being funded by social media. The kids have been funded by social media
Thank
for
you, Snubber.
many
Says,
years.
when asking your dad for a Coke goes wrong, indeed. Now, see, he's making an assumption here because he takes the money out of the equation. The trust fund, we're just taking that out of the equation, so they're being funded by that.
Well, currently they're being funded by the state.
It's before they were taken away.
Oh yeah,
and it is possible they were living strictly off of his online work. But for somebody who's like, we're taking that out because we don't know, to then go to not knowing and presenting it as fact, just kind of made me laugh. It's such a lawyer thing to do. Anyhow,
well, in the last 6 months, he wasn't taking care of his kids. Well, that don't have nothing to do about the next 6 months and the next 2 years and the next 6 years.
And he's got a point there. At some point, Nick does have to think about the future. Unless he is sitting on a really big nest egg, at some point, he's going to have to start making money again to pay for his lifestyle, including having 5 kids.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but having kids is not cheap.
That's what I hear, which is another reason I don't have any. But maybe he's not concerned about the future because he doesn't give a shit about the kids anymore. Just saying, it's a possibility. Uh-oh.
And if I was Nick, I would apologize.
Whoops. See, this is why. Well, what the fuck do I need to apologize for? I don't know, Nick. It's a big fucking mystery. But this is what he was so pissed about.
Now, again, it might have to occur after the case is closed, after he's pled out.
See what he says there?
Yeah.
Nick made it sound like you got to do it right now. The first thing he says after, if I was Nick, I would apologize, is it might have to wait till the case is over. What is wrong with what this man said, other than the fact that he's really annoying? His voice is driving me nuts.
I think that it's about saving face for somebody with a very large ego, hypothetically like Nick. It would be incredibly difficult to take that kind of responsibility and say, I fucked up. So it would involve taking that responsibility, and I don't think Nick is capable of that at this point.
I watched this and I could not understand what he was so angry about with it. It made no sense to me.
It hit him in the ego.
I like the lead attorney. This was my first exposure to him, and other than his voice annoying me, I had no problem with what I saw. But I can't listen to people whose voices annoy me. Why would I?
I only watched a little bit of the stuff. I don't really pay attention to lawyers that much. So if you look at
let's
lawyers,
start talking about some of the people who've been in. Go ahead.
God. If you stare at lawyers too much and they stare back, it's sort of like making eye contact with Satan.
Will you talk for just a second?
Sure. I'm talking. This is me talking. What's up, chat? Drops pants. Apologize, Jesse. Right? Jack, you might be right, because why would he not apologize for the shit he did to the kids? Well, if he's so far down the rabbit hole of his addiction, he may not actually care. And it's not something he's intentionally doing. But it is something that he's doing. Thanks for sharing the links around, Assassin. Appreciate that. Like, share, and subscribe. Uses the Don DeMarco horn. That would be annoying, yeah. Stare at lawyers. Don't stare at lawyers. Don't make eye contact. Yeah. The level of self-aggrandizement we see coming out of Nick is really tragic for his kids, I think, because I really don't think he is at the point where he might love them on a deep level, but superficially he's more wrapped up in other things going on around him than he seems to be about his kids. And if your kid managed to get a hold of your cocaine, you're obviously not being responsible.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Sorry, just trying to get this stupid thing working properly. I'm just going to let you guys know now, I'm probably going to end up booted throughout this whole stream because, shit's pissing me off.
Have you tried a different USB port?
Yes.
Oh. I'm out of ideas. My troubleshooting capabilities are incredibly limited.
Yeah, you'll notice I no offense, but did not ask you anything about how to fix it.
Why would you? Oh my God. You trying to break your computer?
No, exactly. I realize you, like most people, very limited knowledge.
Yeah, mine's gray.
Yeah, fair. All right. So next up, we're going to talk about Camelot. Camelot has been a Nick supporter in all of this. And I told you before the stream, if I hadn't have seen how much defense he was running for Nick and him being one of the people out there going, people are just talking about this because it gets some money, accusing them of being, Nick, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd feel bad for him because you can see it in his eyes and hear it in his voice. This information coming out hit him pretty hard. And I get it, but later on in the stream, he tells about how his older brother and sister were both addicts when he was little, and they used to steal from him and they were mean to him, and it was all because of the drugs, and his older brother ends up dying from drug use. How do you be like that and then run interference for somebody who was doing coke with their kids around, even before finding out that the girl had coke in her system? How do you run interference at that point? And he's even going to tell us here in a second, he was proud of it. So as much as the human empathy in me wants to feel bad for this guy, I just can't, because you were one of the ones defending him. You're like, hey, we got to give him a little bit of the doubt. And I mean, sure, just coke with his kid. It's stupid. But anyway.
We got a lot to talk about, guys. As you guys all are, I'm the elephant in the room, boys. Is what's going on. And I watched this shit happen live.
I want you to pay attention to how much he plays with his hat over the next minute or so. How very uncomfortable he is even having to discuss this.
Terrifying shit. I couldn't believe it. But I had Nick's stream ready to go on my TV. I was playing some spades, with my boys. We were just kind of hanging out in my little living room area, and had it pulled up, ready to go. And my buddy texted me and was like, "Hey, guess what?" And I was like, "Okay." And then I got on the phone for a few minutes, and God, just wanted to make sure everything was legit and confirmed. I didn't want to make sure shit was a lie. I didn't want to make sure shit was fake before I even thought about it. But I got on the phone and I figured out it was all real. So here we
That part is very telling. He got on the phone with somebody. I'm wondering if he called up Nick, because they're really good friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm wondering if he called up Nick and Nick confirmed it.
Well, it's possible.
Who else would he call and get, make sure it's real and trust it?
Nick Steeler.
Again, it's not proof of anything, but wow. Monk, you need to share. I didn't watch this tard. In fairness to him, in this stream, he's not as tarded. He has dropped most of his defense of Nick.
are. And yeah, we're gonna talk about it. You guys already know. I don't have to talk about it. I mean, I don't have to say what it is, but you guys already know. If you guys don't know, our boy Nick Rekieta has been fighting.
The ways, for those of you who don't play poker, the way he's fucking with his hat like that, it's called a tell.
Challenging time. This is hard to talk about, guys. It's hard. I know I'm laughing. It's like a nervous laugh. I don't know. So he's facing some challenging times right now. And we've kind of been, there's a lot of people that have been what they call sweeping. And I've been kind of in between, but obviously people call me a nose guard. I was voted the #1 nose guard. I was kind of proud of that.
Nose guard being a football reference, guys. Your nose guard out there in front protecting.
Yeah.
I was proud of being voted #1.
It's double entendre because Nick has a big nose.
Yes. And that's why they use that one. But he was proud of being that guy. What part of the charges, minus the children, were you proud of defending him for?
It's kind of fucked up if you're proud of defending somebody's massive drug habit.
And see, this is why I said you can see how uncomfortable he is. It's apparent. This is not easy for him. But motherfucker, why did it take the kid actually having coke in their system? Wasn't it being close to them enough?
Yeah.
That wasn't bad enough for you? With your history? Jesus Christ. Anyway.
But yesterday, a report was released. It was a CPS report. If I'll pull it up in a minute. It's a CPS report, and in the CPS report, it says that our boy Nick's 9-year-old daughter tested positive for over 5,000 units of cocaine in her hair follicle. And we're going to talk a lot about what this means, and I'm going to go through the entire process of how they tested it, the test, and how it eliminates some theories, because I can't say who told me the theory.
That's another one that's kind of it makes you think he was talking to Nick.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he was.
Yeah, but why couldn't he tell us otherwise?
Yeah, the only other reason not to tell is because it would cause like strife within their community. He tells a story about how he used to be involved in a whole bunch of group chats, with various different people, and they're all basically ghost towns now because nobody wants to deal with this shit.
Well, it's a tough thing to be associated with somebody that is accused of what Nick's accused of.
It's actually very easy. What he did was fucked up. There's no excuse for it. There's my statement.
Yeah, have you met a lawyer? They don't talk like
He's
that.
this guy's a race car driver.
I never would have guessed that, but at the same time, most of the people that Nick associates with are professional people.
I suppose.
On paper, anyway.
One of them is Star Wars girl, so come on. Not all that professional. Point. Yeah. Anyway.
I have a comment for that would definitely get me in trouble.
Yeah, I think I can guess. Anyway, here we go.
Anyways, yeah. 5,000 she'd be dead. No, she would not. That's a common thing that you guys keep repeating for some reason.
Okay, that's where I wanted to get to in his stream. Guys, I'll link his stream is Camelot 331. This is his stream he just did today. I'll tell you, I'll throw it into chat, but I might not remember. You guys can look it up yourself. I wanted to get to that point because he says, the 5,000, you guys keep saying he'd be dead. The reason they keep saying that is because it came from Nick.
Yeah.
Nick apparently said that to Josh Moon, the guy who runs Kiwi Farms. Nick reached out to Kiwi Farms yesterday to thank him for shutting down the thread, which, by the way, is back open.
Which Noel probably did just to spite Nick.
It's funny as shit, too. We shared the DM. But yeah, Nick is out there claiming that, hey, if she had the 5,000 parts per whatever, then she'd be dead. That's not true.
No, that's not true at all.
I did a bunch of research on hair tests today, Jack.
Yeah. It's not that complicated. A lot of people don't seem to understand what a hair follicle test is, though. I don't get that. They're not putting a comb through your hair. That's fucking retarded.
Let's just talk about it for a minute. First thing, number one, false positives do happen, but they're incredibly rare. You know what is not incredibly rare?
Both of these nuts.
False negatives.
Oh.
And here's how they know. They took a bunch of admitted cocaine users and tested them.
What? Why would they do that, monkey?
Now, here's the thing. None of the ones that tested positive were false positives. How do we know? Because they're all admitted coke users. However, it was something like 35% of them showed as not using coke.
Monkey.
Huh? Hello? Uh-oh. Is that me or him? I think it's probably me. Everything's frozen. Hello? Oh, it is Jack this time. Okay, fuck. So I'm just sitting here giving you guys some dead air because I assumed it was me. I can see my little icon. It's showing I'm still connected, but I don't trust that motherfucker. Anyway, when he gets back, he'll just rejoin. But false negatives are way more common than false positives. And if you read the literature on it, that's why they say, you can't trust these tests. It's not because they're going to give you a false negative or a false positive, because they'll give a false negative, which might explain why only one of the children in the house showed up with it. Nick might be as surprised as anybody that only one kid was shown with drug use. Hey, welcome back, my friend. Okay, he is back, but he's not talking to us. He's probably still having an issue. So some things to talk. There's no way for this to be an accidental thing. There's no way for this to be an incidental thing. And one of the reports that I read was about this testing that they did on undercover narcotics agents. And it showed like 60% of them showed up as positive for cocaine until they washed their hair. And we're not talking a chemical wash. Just they went and got some Pantene or some Prel or whatever the fuck. What kind of, I don't even know what shampoos are out there anymore. But they washed their hair. And after the first wash, only like 1% of them still showed as cocaine use. And then after the second wash, none of them did. This isn't incidental. I was around somebody who threw coke in the air. This was in the hair follicle. Now, the only way for this to be a legit falsehood as it stands now, and likelihood, I guess, because yes, false positive can possibly happen. What won't happen is what a lot of people are trying to say is like, oh, she was probably on ADHD medicine. The cocaine test only tests for cocaine. And they say in one of the reports that they use cocaine in certain medical procedures still. And even having it put into your body for the procedure isn't enough to trigger a hair follicle test. So even having it shoved up into your fucking face, because it's for like eyes and teeth, if I remember correctly, even having it actually purposefully put there one time for a surgery isn't enough to trigger it. But there's a whole lot of people trying to, oh no, it could be this or that. No. This child was ingesting cocaine on the regular. And how do we know on the regular? Welcome back, Jack. I'm going to keep trying until we get a response from him. But how do we know it's on the regular? Well, when they do these tests, we talked about the 500, right? The 500 is the minimal amount where if it shows up in your hair, they're going to say, this guy used drugs. This guy ingested cocaine. Whether it was snorting it, eating it, whatever the fuck you did. 500, that's the bottom. The next level up, and that is somebody who's what they call using it recreationally. Recreationally, 500 to 2,000. 500 to 2,000 is considered recreational use. You and your buddies are out on a Friday. Somebody pulls out blow, and you're like, fuck it. I didn't got to work tomorrow. The next level is 2,000 to 10,000. 2,000 to 10,000. And this is what they call a regular user. And as they describe it, somebody who uses it on weekdays/weekends is what it said. Thank you, the Marshallist. You're doing God's work. I'm doing somebody's work. Thank you so much for the donation. All right, so 2 to 10,000 is somebody who does it on basically a regular basis. She's right in the middle of that. She's at 5,000. Now, from 10,000 and above, it's somebody who has a problem and they're just doing, that's your Hunter Biden. That's somebody who gets high because their high's starting to wear off. This wasn't a one-time thing. This wasn't she walked through while they were doing coke or she slept on it. It's not that. It was in her system. It was actually in her bloodstream for a while. It's the only way this could have happened. And the cocaine test, specifically the cocaine test, one of the reasons that you don't have the false positives on that is because the metabolite that they're looking for, hey, look, I said that word right, for cocaine is unique to cocaine. Lidocaine's not going to do it. I saw somebody saying lidocaine, what's the other one? Another one of the cane drugs could do it. No. Because for cocaine, it is very specific. Thank you, Job, for 9. It is very unlikely that a provider would use for a child. Oh, yeah. And for the record, bringing that up about the doctors who use it still sometimes for basically a local anesthetic kind of thing. It's not for children. It's just the way it is. It's something it's not used a lot, but they just use that to point out that it's not an incidental thing. It's not even a minor thing. A minor thing like that doesn't even show up on the test. You don't hit that 500 to trigger the test. So anyway, let's get Camelot off of here. And again, his stream was pretty decent tonight. He argued with a lot of people who were trying to do some gunt guarding for Nick's nose. All right, for those who want to see, there's Camelot's stream if anybody's interested. Now, next up, the only reason we're watching this is because last time I brought this fat fuck up, somebody got mad at me and told me I took him out of context, so we're going to watch the context. What's up, Jack? Jack, check your microphone setting. Because we can see you, we just can't hear you, my friend. Cocaine is vitamins for children. Stop it. Anyhow, Yeah, so we're going to be watching some uncivil law, and I don't think he was necessarily sweeping. Why did sweeping become the thing? Is it sweeping it under the rug? Is that what that's supposed to be for? Jack's not here, man. No, Jack's right there. I can see him on the screen. I can see him in the green room behind the scenes too. But anyway, he's still trying to find the good. He's still trying to make it other than Nick is just a jackass who had drugs around his kids and probably was ignoring the fact that his daughter at 9 years old had started partaking as well. Anyway, here he is. He's describing the test, and he does say, I want to put this out because I don't want anybody to accuse me of taking him out of context. He does say, I don't know what any of this stuff actually means. I did a little bit of stuff. I did some research, and this is a lawyer, by the way. I couldn't understand the research, and I couldn't find very much, which is weird because a whole bunch of us out there found a shit ton. A bunch of us with just a simple Google search found a bunch of stuff on this. He couldn't. He had trouble. Apparently, he needs a paralegal to go digging for it for him. But anyway,
you know, this isn't 550. This is 5,000. So the sort of playing around on the margins idea doesn't exactly readily lend itself to these sets of facts.
Now, what he's talking about there about playing around the margins right before this, he's talking about the 26 grams because remember, in Minnesota, anything over 25 becomes the class, what is it, a class 2 felony? And there's a whole bunch of the sweepers. I like that name, so we're going to keep it. Who are like, oh, but that's with the weight of the packaging. And we went and looked it up on the show because everybody's acting like the package weighs 10 fucking grams. It was a Ziploc bag. It was 3 quarters of a Ziploc bag. And a Ziploc bag, what was the weight on that, guys? I forget. And that's including the zipper part of it, weighs less than a gram. So you're talking about just cutting the corners off of them. You guys have seen those bags, right? That people do that. It's not like there was a whole bunch of fucking weight on there, but he's talking about, in that case, we could be like, hey, maybe without the thing, then you could say that it's less than 25. And maybe you could play around with the margins on there. But in this case, it wasn't 550. We're not even talking about the margins anymore. But just so you know what the context is. And whoever it is that's worried I take him out of context, feel free to go back to 23 minutes of his stream here and check and make sure I'm being correct.
It seems to me. So I don't think that
it doesn't
works.
You're right.
So short of somehow, some way, that the hair was unduly exposed to cocaine on that particular day, which I don't know even what that would be. He was putting powder in his hair for some reason, and it was cocaine powder. So the child was putting cocaine powder in their hair by accident. So short of that,
okay. If you don't know, you should shut the fuck up because what you just described wouldn't trigger the test. So short of that, no. Even in that case, even if right earlier in that day, somebody took a kilo of coke and dumped it on top of this child, they wash the hair first. And they wash it with a different shampoo than just, Aussie or Herbal Essence. I'm just naming shampoos now. It's an actual one that they do for these tests. And this guy like, you may, unless she laid down in some cocaine. No, even then, it wouldn't trigger the test like this. That's not how the test works. But anyway.
I don't know what scenario this would be that it wouldn't be concerning because, it's 10 times the legal threshold.
Now he uses this term legal threshold, and it's not the legal threshold. It might be used by, legalities, different, jurisdictions might go, okay, if you trigger this test, in which case that test triggers at 500. So it becomes the legal standard, but it's not like that's why it's not like they arbitrarily grabbed a number. It's because that's where the test is, because of the way that they've done the research on it. That's where the test is accurate. At 500, there's no question. There's just no question. Hey, I hear you this time.
Oh, my internet's acting up because there's a storm and it's fucking with the internet. I just checked the website. So somehow it just fixed itself. So here we are.
Yeah, you just out of nowhere, I hear, do you hear me? That's the first we've heard. So welcome back.
Oh, good to be back.
So anyway, I assume you've been listening.
Yes, I've been listening.
So you're caught up on this. Don't talk about shit you don't know about, guys.
I told everybody this yesterday. Nobody seemed to believe me. You cannot have it in your hair. It's literally in the follicle. Inside of the hair itself is what they're testing. Yep. Not whatever dirt you got on your head.
Oh, and we should also point out that the hair follicle test, the way they do it, it tests between the last 7 days and the last 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
For it to get into your hair follicles, excuse me, it takes 7 to 10 days. And then the test checks back to 3 months back. They do it by the length of your hair.
Yeah,
and there's
the
some
hair, the further back they go.
Yeah, there's some variation, but they try for a 3-month period based on how quick hair grows. Hair grows at different speeds for all of us, not enough that it would throw this off by much.
Yep.
But either way, yeah, it's in the fucking follicle. It's not just that she got a dusting of blow on her hair.
I said that yesterday. You know, people got to look this shit up. I'm not always talking out of my ass, just most of the time.
Hey, he tried looking it up and he just could not find much.
I don't know how you don't.
Which is fucking weird because
episodes of Forensic Files.
The first fucking thing I found had all this information.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this is all over. This is not new science. This has been around since like the early 90s. This is not new technology.
Oh, Michael says short hair for the win. Hold that thought. JB, thank you. Reminds me of the flies are in the computer scene from Zoolander.
How does anyone live in this tiny house?
For the record, when you've been busted with drugs and stuff and your kids are involved and you have to do the drug testing and stuff, you're not allowed to cut your hair. You have to have special permission to cut it in different ways.
Yeah.
Because they're going to test your hair for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's not just a piss test.
Well, which is probably why he pulled the ROI.
Probably.
So that he didn't have to voluntarily give it. They had to force him to give hair and pee samples.
Yep. Because somebody brought this up on, I think it was, I don't remember where I saw it, but they were talking about how Nick got his hair cut. Nick's hair, you can get some of your hair cut. But where they take this from is the crown of the head. As long as you leave that, you'll be fine. They're just worried about you shaving your whole head and being like, what? I always look like this. If you look at the top of his head, it's still long enough that that won't get him in trouble, but it could if you're out there and you're on this stuff. Don't cut your hair without permission. Anyway, it's like being a wife in the 1800s, Jack.
Yeah, you need permission from your significant other.
It used to be the law here in Michigan up until it might still be, but I think they undid it. But at least back in the 90s, it was still state law that women had to get their husband's permission to cut their hair, which is kind of funny. And frankly, I think that should be the law. I think men should have to get their wives' permission and wives should have to get their husband's permission because we have to look at each other.
Yeah. Well, for a while here in Ohio, the law was you can't get a vasectomy without your wife's permission.
Oh, that's still the law.
Long time. Yeah, that's fucking dumb.
When
my body, my choice. If she could cut my baby out, I could tie my tubes. I'm not gonna.
For all of those assholes who are like, nobody should be telling people what to do with their body. When I got my vasectomy, my wife had to be there and okay it. And you know what? I'm actually okay with that.
It was her enthusiasm that was disturbing. Her request to do it herself.
There was no request about that. When the third one popped up, she's like, "You're getting that cut, or I will." Yeah.
No, she was too eager to reach for those scissors, and the doctors were like, "No, we're gonna do it." And she's like, oh,
Yeah. When we went in there, the doctor, he's like, "You're 22. Are you sure you want to do this?" And all I did is put my hand on my wife's very pregnant belly and said, "This is number 3, and I'm 22. Yes." And it's a good. There are places where if you're that young and you say either only have one child or none, they will really try to talk you out of it.
yeah. Well, I mean, I get that. Young people are fairly impulsive, but you were 3 kids at 22. That's That's a tad different story.
We knew what was causing it, and we were trying to stop it.
Or try to make it just as fun, but without any of the ammunition.
Indeed. All right, so back to him, where he's getting to the part that really annoyed me.
Which seems to be a common threshold used by the government, as best as I can tell, for at least some purposes, and a common threshold that's used by employers for some purposes.
Just once again, it's the common threshold because that's where the test is. It's positive. There's no question.
Yeah.
That's why it's the threshold, is because lower than that, it might not be anything.
Real quick. Thank you, Evolved Potato. I got it. Nick was washing his kids. Just instead of water, they were using a cocaine dirt bath. Or the kids got themselves a nice case of original Coca-Cola. Lacy bastards. I think he meant lucky bastards, but Lacy sounds better. Yeah, I mean, maybe they were blowing all of Dad's money while he was distracted with Coke and hose.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just getting cool shit off eBay. So that's, I suppose, there's a possibility there. But honestly, at what the numbers they gave, that kid probably did it more than once.
There's a disturbing story we'll talk about off air because I can't verify it, so I don't want to put it on air.
Yeah.
But just generally speaking, just a reminder, she falls in the middle of the regular user category.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Also, does this guy not sound kind of like Angry MGTOW?
Not to me.
See if somebody super chat this guy the phrase "cock carousel" and see if we can compare.
So it's not, and I incidentally couldn't find any threshold more than 500. I found thresholds less than 500 for particular applications, for particular jobs in the government, for example. So I found cutoffs with less than 500. But
I just want to point out, he said, for particular jobs in the government, it's even more strenuous. Yet somehow Coke ended up in the White House.
Weird how that happened.
Yeah. He's really hung up on this 500 and the threshold. Again, they explain why it's the threshold. And the reason I can hear what you're talking about with Angry MGTOW, but he doesn't have a deep enough voice to be Angry MGTOW.
Oh, that's fair. I just assumed he was altering it so he could hide his identity.
No, I don't know if Kurt is gay, but he sounds it. He's got that feminine voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't find, at least in my limited research, any cutoff of more than 500. So 500 seems to be the upper bound of where we start to care, and it's 10 times that number. And 10 times is a lot. So it is strongly suggestive.
10 times is a lot. It's like 10 times more.
Oh my God. You wizard with Matthew.
That, there is cocaine in the house, and there's been some sort of accidental cross-contamination exposure. Perhaps.
Stop.
There's an allegation with no evidence.
There's been accidental exposure.
You don't know that. Facts, not evidence, Mr. Lawyer Guy.
How is it you found a lower threshold for government employees, which I didn't even find in my research, but you didn't come across the part of regular user?
Those gardening?
Rekieta's coked up 9-year-olds. Good to see you again. Hope you're well. Thank you for that donation. Hey, Uncle Monk, I did real good spelling tachycardia yesterday, but now I need some money so I can go skiing because daddy's short on money because of all the mean laws in Candioi County. I don't know how you say that. And now I really want to go skiing. And hi, Uncle Jack, let's go ski. I'm going to pass on the skiing, but good luck with it.
My teeth itch.
Oh, God. Nick came up with an excuse for the track marks that people supposedly saw, Jack. It was his heat allergy.
Oh, heat allergy.
He's got a heat allergy, you know, as he does his hot tub streams.
Yeah, you would not be doing that if you had a heat allergy, I would think.
Nah, bro, he got a heat allergy, and that hot tub with the 100-degree water feels good on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, this is where he started to fucking annoy me. Some accidental exposure. No. But don't worry, he gives an example, Jack.
Oh, I'm sure that's gonna not piss me off.
By, you know, using a spoon that had not been cleaned correctly. And once again, when
A spoon?
Yep.
Were they injecting it like heroin? Or did they were they huffing it off? Did this kid think it was Lick-a-Stick?
This is a grown man, at least in his mid to late 30s, at least, who's a lawyer, who claims he's never known a junkie in his whole life, which, where the fuck did you grow up?
Yeah, oh shit.
Were you in the woods by yourself? But he never known a junkie, so he just, maybe it was just a dirty spoon. All right, I told you guys just a little bit ago that even a doctor purposefully putting cocaine in somebody's body for a surgery on the eye tooth region. Again, I wish I could remember exactly what surgeries they mentioned, but actual cocaine put into their body will not trigger the 500 threshold. Do you really think a spoon that just has a tiny bit of coke left on it is going to show up as a regular user? What, did they all have their own special spoons and only she used that one? And it just happens that Nick and Kayla were using that one to spoon out their coke?
This is Daddy's funny spoon.
Christ. See, this is what I mean. He's not even really defending Nick if you watch this. He's not, but he's still, it's accidental. How the fuck?
Making excuses for
I say not
Uh-oh.
what?
That's got to be Jack again. Oh, you broke up just a little bit. That's all.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
correctly, that doesn't necessarily mean not cleaned, because again, we're talking about, a very small amount, but I digress.
You think that if you washed a spoon in like some Palmolive or some Dawn dish soap, it's still going to have enough Coke on it to trigger a 5,000? Really? That made sense to you enough to say out loud. And no shame about it. Now, again, he does repeatedly remind people, I don't know what I'm talking about here. Then shut the fuck up, because what you're saying is stupid. It's just dumb. Nah, if you wash a spoon and it's ever even heard of cocaine, you're going to trigger the test. 5,000, guys. He just made a big deal about how 10 times the limit is not a minor thing. But suddenly, it's not. It's just that they washed the spoon and it had trace amounts of Coke on it. Jesus fucking Christ. I get it. He's your friend and you don't want to think the worst of him. Okay? I get that. But you're a man. Hold your friends accountable for their fucking actions. This child had regular access to Coke, period, and made use of it, period. Now, I've heard some theories about how it might have been used, which while still horrible and I would not defend or even suggest, I could at least understand. I don't remember who it was. I'll tell you what I'm talking about so you guys can go, wait, did Monkey just say give your kids coke? No. Somebody suggested that maybe for this child's whatever issue she has, that maybe it was possible that somebody in that situation who thinks that cocaine is a drug that actually helps you cure things, as Nick apparently does, that maybe they were medicating the child themselves using coke and rubbing it on their gums. Is it plausible? I guess.
Is
Just
smart?
as plausible.
No.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just as plausible as a child finding the coke and just acting like mom and dad. However, at least I could understand that. It's stupid, but you're trying to help your kid and you think you're smarter than everybody else, so hey, I'll self-medicate them. I at least understand that because you're trying to help the kid. It doesn't excuse it at all. It's fucking horrible. You're giving your child cocaine. It is this is some kind of regular use, period. End of story. None of this other nonsense is even plausible. The child was ingesting it on somewhat regular basis.
Yep.
And
It's not a one-time thing with results like that.
Backscan says, wait, how old was the kid? 9.
9-year-old dude. 9-year-old.
What could possibly go wrong with getting your 9-year-old daughter hooked on coke?
This is how strippers are made.
I want to go to LA, Daddy.
Real quick. Thank you, Nick's Defender, for that feminist donation. He was totally trying to bottle old Coke, Your Honor. He had the Coke and was waiting for the other ingredients and bottles and equipment and buyers. You can't steal from Coca-Cola, dude. That's probably worse. They will hunt you down.
All right. Now for the highlight of the evening.
Ugh.
We have not done enough to rip on this piece of shit. But I have to, because this dumb motherfucker is out there still trying to make himself out to be the good guy while claiming to be a bad guy, Jack.
Oh, of course.
He takes responsibility.
Oh, yeah, he's the responsible one in the polycule.
But the guy in the NWO shirt there, that is Aaron Imholte. He is Nick Rekieta's slut's husband. And he was taking a victory lap because of this. Now, this right here is where he first finds out about it. This is where he first finds out about the charges last night or yesterday when they broke. They were on the air and somebody told him to go read Kiwi Farm. So he saw it live on the air, which is kind of funny because he also found out about the arrest live on the air.
Yeah.
Apparently when this guy goes live, Nick's life just gets worse. But anyway, this is this retard on his show, Steel Toe Show.
Curious if this is true. I can't even joke about this one if it's true.
Bro, you were in the house where they had the children and the drugs.
Yeah, you probably know about this firsthand.
Hold that thought for the next video, Jack.
Oh, God.
But why are you acting like I don't even know if this could be true? Why are you acting like that?
You know why. He's covering his own ass.
He's trying to come off as holier than he tries to come off as holier than thou while also admitting he's a sinner himself.
Oh, Monkey, he was trying to break up the sin by you have to go amongst the sinners, and sometimes that means a little bit of sticking it to somebody else's wife.
Lass, you're getting ahead of the story. Just wait.
Shit. I honestly don't know anything about this.
Not you. No, Lass. Lass in chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I hate when the audience jumps the gun. Just wait. No, you can jump the gun all you want, but we are going to watch. Don't worry.
It's a PDF file.
Is that code?
After being placed out of the house, the children were subject to hair follicle testing.
Look at the concern on his face.
I think he's covering up a smile because he knows exactly what would come up in that hair follicle test.
Motherfucker, you knew about the coke in the house. You knew about the kids in the house with the coke, and you ain't say shit.
You knew about those stinky kids.
Your dumbass shouldn't be saying fuck all about anything right now. You should just shut the fuck up and pretend you don't even know these people.
I don't even know these assholes.
Instead, he's gonna pretend that he actually cares.
Guys, if what I'm reading is true, anybody who still defends this motherfucker, I'm just going through the list of things I want to say in my head, but I can't say on YouTube.
How about I'm a piece of shit who shouldn't be talking publicly about this because I'm part of the problem. I allowed this to happen. How about that? Nah?
A little too close to home there, I think.
That's a little too honest. It's a
Yeah.
little too honest. Jack is the new lass. Oh.
Boy, are you in trouble with
Nick,
that.
don't stream tonight.
Right?
Or fucking do.
You know, yeah, whatever.
Or fucking do.
Go on and talk about this, bud.
Case type, chips. That's a child protective services thing. In the matter of the welfare of the...
I just like how he was trying to act all big and bad. Or fucking do. We kind of saw that with Nick, too. These two skinny little shits need to stop pretending they're manly. Just relax. Just relax.
Yeah, dude, just... There's a time and a place to act tough, and this ain't it.
Bro, you lost your wife to Nick. Stop it.
Yeah, she preferred the way his nose addressed her clitoris. Legally.
Well, I mean, in his 69, that might have, like, you know... You ever see the movie Devil and Mrs. Jones?
Yeah.
I think it was actually part 2, where there was a guy with a penis nose.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Do you think this dude and Nick ever touched each other?
He was asked about that. And let me just say, by his response, I have no doubt he knows how April and Kayla feel. How about that?
Oh,
I'll put it that way.
Oh,
yeah.
My.
Yeah. Now he denies it, of course, but it's the way he denied it. Aaron, in case you see this, I'm saying you took it up the ass from Nick. I don't want there to be any kind of misunderstanding about what I'm saying. You got fucked in the ass by Nick Rekieta is what I'm saying.
He may have done it orally.
I don't want to leave any ambiguity out.
Yeah, you tend to be very ambiguous sometimes.
I do sometimes.
Yeah, sort of the reputation you have.
Yeah, exactly. I was being a little too subtle there, Fuki. I gotta be clear.
Of Kayla and Nick Rekieta. I'm hyperventilating a little. I'm so fucking angry.
You are so fucking performative.
Yeah, you were there for this.
I'm so
dude.
fucking angry.
Why are you angry? You were there for this. You knew the children weren't being attended to by your own statements previously. He said how he had to feed the kids.
Now, if anybody wants to watch the rest of that, it's like a 12-minute clip on somebody else's channel from Alyssa's clip. Alyssa clip? I think it's clips is
Alyssa
what it
clips.
says.
Yeah.
She
does good work.
You can watch it here. I just wanted to show how shocked and surprised and angry he was before we watch his stream from earlier tonight where he was on his own and had time to think about it.
Yeah.
This little fucking piece of shit. Jesus Christ. One, dude, what's with all the fucking wrestling shirts, man? His last one was NWO and this one is Bret the Hitman Hart.
Well, maybe wrestling shirts are the new Boogaloo Boy thing, like Wendigoon when he founded the Boogaloo Boys.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe he's trying to start his own thing.
I they're not even like current ones, right?
No, they're vintage. See, that makes him like scholarly or like.
God, he's a hipster.
Yeah, it shows his hipster cred as well as his nerd cred because he enjoys the vintage.
No wonder your wife left you for another wiener. All right.
At 10 times the false positive limit.
The part that I cut off is just him going over what the accusation thing was there. Anyway.
And by the way, to the people saying, oh, she'd be dead if it were that much. That's fucking bullshit. Nick said that to Josh. We'll go through that in a little bit. When Nick left that bullet of coke next to my daughter,
I called the police, right? That's the next sentence out of your mouth, right? When Nick left a bullet of coke next to my daughter, there's only two ways to finish that sentence. I kicked his fucking ass or I called the police. Jack, do you think he's going to pick either of those? We might have lost Jack again. But those are the only two acceptable answers as a fucking father. And yes, okay, you're right, Shadow of Humanity. Both would work too. But let's see what he says.
And then I threw his ass out of the house till April said they should come back.
I threw his ass out of the house until my wife, who was taking his dick, said he should come back. Bro, be a man. What's up, Jack? Jack is our on-the-scene reporter for the storms going on in Ohio right now. We'll get back to him as soon as we can. Anyway, he's laughing about it. He's laughing. You saw how shocked and surprised he was. You found a bump of coke next to your own daughter. Why would you be at all shocked by what happened? Why would that in any way be something out of left field that you're just so distraught over? You didn't even cut off all ties with this motherfucker when he left coke next to your daughter at your house. See what I mean, guys? He's trying to play it both ways because he's going to tell us in a minute what a piece of shit he is, which, by the way, I could not agree more. Aaron, you dick-taking piece of shit, you are garbage. Just garbage. But he tries to have it both ways. Look, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. By the way, when he left coke right next to my daughter, I decided to be friends with him still. For real? Aaron's a doormat. No, Aaron is a pussy who was all part of this until he wasn't, and then he got cucked in front of the whole world, and it's very embarrassing to him, and he's trying to save face. He's a loser is what he is. Have a good night, Foogie.
Yay, teamwork. When that happened, Nick dared to try to defend himself by saying, I don't think that much would have killed her.
What? Why would that even be an argument? Somebody left coke next to your daughter. The only argument there should be, please stop hitting me. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my God, what a piece of shit. And for him to be trying to play this off as though he was somehow the arbiter of good decision making, even though I made bad decisions. The fuck is wrong with you? It was a 4-year-old too. I didn't know the age of his daughters. It was a 4-year-old daughter. Nick left coke next to a 4-year-old. And he's like, I mean, we can still be friends because my wife really likes your penis.
And now this time, his kid tests positive for coke, and he tries to deny it to Josh from Kiwi Farms by saying, oh, if it were that much, it would have killed her. That's another lie from Mr. Rekieta. Let's keep chalking those up. Lie, lie, lie. Most of you don't even know how many lies he's told because I was there.
Yeah, the more you keep reminding people you were there, the more we realize what a piece of shit you are. Jackie, back? We still can't hear you. Keep trying, though. All right. Anyway, yeah, why do you keep reminding people that you're part of the problem? Why should anybody be listening to you about this? I was there. I got the inside knowledge. Yeah, you were one of the druggies. You were one of the ones that allowed drugs near kids. Aaron banned me because I wouldn't stop insulting him. Okay, look, I do want to say this. I guess we have to. Don't harass anybody we see on this show. But this guy is absolutely a piece of shit. And I have no problem with people who want to tell him he's a piece of shit.
And my memory's a little bit sharper than his was.
Why are you saying that as some kind of bragging point? Did you call the police, Aaron? Because you should have. Were you engaging in the drug play? Because you shouldn't have been. The fact that you remember it all doesn't make it better, dickhead. It actually makes it worse. He's only looking decent when compared to Nick. I don't even think he looks decent when compared to Nick. I think they both look like shitbags. I don't think he looks any better in this situation than Nick does.
Loved his cope last night, too, about me. He's like, you're just lying to cover up your failures. He thinks that me leaving a coke den polycule and attending to my children and starting new healthy relationships, that's one of my failures.
Well, when you left that because, you were the odd man out and your attempt at getting a new baby mama in taking Nick's wife didn't work, and your own, the current stepmother of your children was like, no, I'm staying with Nick too. That's why you changed. Don't act like you just suddenly got holier than thou. You didn't leave when he left coke next to your kid. You stayed for that. But I'm expected to believe there was some other cutoff where you're just like, no, that's too far. What was that cutoff? It wasn't enough to have the drugs by your own child, your own 4-year-old. That wasn't enough. So what was the breaking point? What was it that happened that suddenly you were like, yeah, this is too far? You weren't out here telling the world about all this shit. You were keeping it close to the vest, remember? Because you didn't want to have any problems with April. Remember that? Wouldn't that make him an accomplice? Yes, 100%. Absolutely, he's an accomplice. He was a willing participant. He was a co-conspirator. But I remember it. That's not the win you think it is, dipshit.
He sees my toxic marriage ending as a failure. That says a lot about Nick Rekieta.
This is you trying to dress up what happened because you have some new whore that you've globbed onto doesn't mean that you're a success. You are riding a small wave of success because you were doing coke with Nick and banging his wife while his wife banged yours, and then he ended up with both women. What part of that's the win? Can you put that into articulated form?
Shut up.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back. He won. I got kicked out of the poly pod and took it in the butt from Nick, but I won. Jesus Christ. Did you catch that part, Jack, about him still befriending Nick after Nick left coke next to his 4-year-old daughter? Uh-oh. We lose. Every time I ask Jack about that, it cuts off, so we're going to have to stop asking Jack.
I like that you guys are now seeing the real Nick, because the guy I'm seeing on these streams and the guy you guys are like, oh my God, I can't believe this. That's the guy I know.
Well, the reason people are like that is because they didn't know him as he was already a drug addict. We saw him come up when he was still clean, and we saw him morph into that, where you globbed onto him when he was already in the drug-fueled stupidity. That's the guy I know. Yeah, you know, the drug addict. Again, what do you think? What do you think you're showing here? I know the real him because I did coke with him. I really want to know what this guy thinks this means. I know the real him. Now, you know the drug addict that you hooked up with to try to get fucking clout, you douche. You were like, ooh, my star might rise if I let this guy leave coke lying around my house for my daughter to ingest. Seriously, what part of this makes you think you're better than Nick at all? Even a little tiny bit. Because your kid didn't end up taking drugs? You got lucky? If you want to say you're luckier than him, I guess that's something, because only one of his kids instead of all 5 of them got into the coke. But that's just lucky. You still had it around her. You still let him around her after he left it laying next to her. Jesus Christ.
That's the Nick I know. Wait a minute. Someone's breaking from my narrative. Quickly gaslight them. Tell them they're crazy. Wait, now build them up by pretending they just don't understand it.
I don't even know what that little ramble there was about. I'm sure it made sense in his head. But what the fuck is he? All right, whatever.
I'm watching. You guys are watching going, man, he's losing his mind. Man, he's cracking. No, this is him. This is the guy I remember.
You remember an angry drug addict. Weird. It's almost like drug addicts get angry a lot, especially if you challenge them on their drug addiction.
Let him sing a little karaoke. He'll be fine.
If that's true, that's the guy you knew. Why'd you hang out with him so long? Something about that appealed to you. Seriously, how does he think this makes him look good? How does he think this makes him look like the better person? And look, I'm not saying Nick is better than him. No. I want to reiterate. I think they are the same class of shitbag. Exactly the same class of shitbag. They're even the same color of shitbag. It's not like one of them's in a white bag and one's in a black. No, they're just these bags of shit.
But I thought that was very funny watching him project and state his own personality and throwing it onto me. That was fun. Nick, where am I? Where are you? Let's talk about failure. So
I'm getting a little ahead. Where's he? Where are you? He's facing drug charges, which he rightfully should be. And you are trying to get famous off of being a cuck who lost his wife to a drug addict that you were trying to get clout from. Do you think that's a win? I mean, I guess. Does Kiwi Farms have a thread on this asshole yet?
So far, everything my kids have been through regarding this, clean of cocaine.
Really? Have they been tested? I'm very curious about that. Because my kids are clean of cocaine. How do you know that? That's a weird thing to say. How do you know that? Even if it was just accidental and you didn't know about it, how do you know? Did you test your own kids? Were you worried about that, Aaron? You should have been, because you had them around coke, man.
Fight your best efforts. So I do want to talk about this a little bit tonight. There are some updates. We will get to them. But I do want to talk about this thing where people have this idea. They're like, why is Aaron talking about this so much? Fuck you.
Because he wants to make money off of it. Anybody who's asking, he wants to make money off of it. He's a loser who hasn't done much with his life. And he's finally got the taste of fame that he thought letting Nick fuck his wife was going to get him. And he's riding it hard. He's riding it like Nick was riding his wife. And the creator side of me understands that, but he's still a douchebag. My question isn't why are you talking about it? I understand that. My question is, why are you talking about it so much when it makes you look so horrible? It'd be one thing if you were completely innocent, you didn't know anything about the drugs, it was all brand new to you. As soon as you found out, you left. No, you ain't do any of that. None of it. But I get why you're doing it, because you're a fucking scumbag.
I talk about this so much because this is a big part of my life.
You're a scumbag.
And it's a damn interesting part of my life. And when you have good, true stories from your life, you want to tell them because they're entertaining. They're interesting.
Okay. Somebody left cocaine next to my 4-year-old daughter, and I yelled at him. And then my wife told me we should still be friends with him. So I did. What part of that is an entertaining story? What part of that is an interesting, entertaining story? By the way, doesn't it kind of look like I missed putting my monkey avatar on top of Mike Lindell's picture there in the upper right? I need to raise it just a little bit. And why do you have a My Pillow cutout? That's weird, dude. That's just fucking weird. I'm talking about it because it's content. Yeah, it's why he's doing it.
And I am an entertainer.
I've seen many of your clips now because of all of this, and I guess anybody can claim to be an entertainer, but you're not a good one.
I'm just letting the people who don't like me just go, "You fucking shitty one. You're not any good at it. You're supposed to be." I'm letting those pile up a little.
And that's not, you're not going to take the hint at all, huh? All right.
But
my mom says I'm funny.
And also the other thing is I am talking about it a lot, and I'll tell you why. I've been on a hell of a journey psychologically. I've been in self-pity. I've been in shame. I've felt like shit. And by
all of those are what you should be feeling. Every bit of it. You deserve it all.
By the way, before you start,
wait,
all of it earned because
all of it earned. He does this throughout the rest of this where I deserved it. I deserve it. I deserve it. But I'm talking about it because I've been on this journey. I've been self-hating, but I deserve it. It's a weird form of self-deprecation to try to give him cover for being the shitty person that he is. Hey, dude, saying I'm a shitty person doesn't excuse being a shitty person. It just doesn't. It just means that you're self-aware about being a shitty person and not changing. And I know you've gone to, I don't want to get ahead of it. I know you've changed until the next guy with a big audience comes along offering you some of it so that he can bang your wife, and then you'll be right back where you are.
Because of my actions. All of it earned because of what I did. I did cocaine 3 or 4 times, and I'm pretty sure, can't be positive, but I'm pretty sure one of those times there may have been people who weren't using asleep in the house. I don't know. I can't confirm, but it may have been possible. But
what he meant to say, there's children. There were children in the house. How about you own up to that part, douchebag? Just a minute ago, you were telling us how clear your memory was. I remember everything. My memory is so much better than yours. I think there might have been people who weren't using in the house. Kids.
Either way, I was in this house while all these people were doing coke. I did Molly half a dozen times. Like, I'm not an innocent guy. It was a shit show.
All right. I just want to give you guys the numbers here because he just told us he's done coke 3 or 4 times and Molly half a dozen times. That gives us at most 10 times he's done drugs. 10 times. He barely used drugs. Barely did it. I think that was a terrible attempt at a dig at Nick. He was trying to say, he's just avoiding responsibility for doing drugs when kids were in the house.
And the house was a fucking mess. It was a pigsty, and it's nothing to be proud of, and those kids could have been treated much better.
Hey, what did you do to call any attention to that in a way that would change it? Anything? Nah.
And I was a part of that. When I realized this whole thing is untenable and I'm losing fucking everything before I lose my fucking children and my sanity, why don't I clear out of this thing? I'll tell Kayla I'm not building the studio in the spare house this weekend. I think I'm out. And then Nick will tell me that I should do the world a favor and K myself. And then April will go radio silent. And, that whole thing.
You had that thought beforehand, right? I'm going to walk away from it. Let's look at the timeline. Did you do this before or after your wife was so hooked on Nick's dick that she convinced you, because you were totally against it, to let Nick back into your life after the drugs with your child? Too cowardly to stand up to his friend. Yeah, he's a bitch.
So,
this guy's voice is smooth as silk. Just me? Yeah. Yeah, his voice is grating. It's very much so.
I have an interesting story to tell. But
he kind of sounds like I don't know how many of you guys have morning zoos and you're old enough to be my age. When we were in Virginia, what was in the station? 104.5 down there in Virginia Beach. They had the morning zoo on, and one of their guys sounded just like this, and it's why I couldn't listen to it. It was annoying as shit. But it seems to me that every morning zoo I've ever heard has that same voice.
But I've also been through a hell of an emotional journey. And by the way, don't one of you feel sorry for me, because I don't fucking deserve it.
See what I'm saying? He keeps trying to do the whole, I deserve it. You do. So here's what you do. Go down to the police and admit you were part of this. Go down and tell them, hey, I deserve to be punished for what I did here. Go get yourself a police record for what you're admitting to. Go on. Show me you actually care. 104.5, really? That's a real famous rock station here in Brisbane. Yeah, it's 104.5. I forget what the call sign was for it at the time and whether it's still the same. But yeah, that was the big rock station back in the late 80s, early 90s. Might have even been the mid or 80s through the early 90s in Virginia Beach.
Made a lot of mistakes. I was right there until I wasn't. I just was the only one speaking out against the drug part. And I don't know if you've ever done that with people who are doing drugs, but it's kind of.
No, I've never had to do that because I don't associate with people who do drugs. And certainly not in my presence. It's not something I would tolerate. Look, guys, you guys want to do drugs, you're in your own house doing your thing, and I'm not going to judge you for it, but it's not something I want to be around. Because for all the people who think nobody can tell when you're high, yeah, we can. I'm a casual user. Nobody knows when I'm high. We all know you were high.
You might as well be not saying anything. But and as I share this story with you, and as I continue therapy, and especially Al-Anon, I cannot encourage people to go to these groups more. They're fantastic. They really.
That's the part where I really got irritated. You're going to Al-Anon? According to you, you did drugs 10 times. And you're going to Al-Anon to tell your story and get your group support? Are you for real? I did Molly 6 times and cocaine 3 or 4 times. I need all the drug treatments. Are you for real? You're going and globbing onto these people who have real fucking problems? You're going there to share your pathetic little life that you caused yourself? You fucking douchebag. Am I wrong for that thought? Am I wrong to think that at 10 uses of drugs, maybe a drug support group isn't actually what you need, especially if you were able to just walk away from it on your own? Yes, his journey. He fucking described it that way earlier. Al-Anon is for families of addicts, not addicts. Yeah. Fair enough. Maybe he's going because his ex-wife, who's not the mother of his children, was a drug addict. Maybe that's it. Or maybe his dad was a drug addict a long time ago and he's finally dealing with that. But can we just point out that he's doing it because of this. He didn't start doing it before this. He did it.
Really do help. I would say that helps even more than therapy. Therapy has helped me with empathetic listening, the way I communicate with people. That's been great. But Al-Anon has helped me understand, all the shit up here. And I am happy to report to you that lately I have been doing really, really well. I am feeling as confident as I used to be. I'm feeling as sure of myself as I used to be. I'm feeling like
You mean back when you were doing drugs around kids? Well, good for you. I'm glad you're feeling good enough to do drugs around children again. Awesome.
old self again. That is going to lead to me on the show being, as you may have noticed, a bit more of kind of a cocky dick.
Bro, you got no reason to be cocky. There is no part of this story where you should be cocky about anything. You should feel horrible. You should feel like a fat girl in high school right now, all right? And I'm not saying fat girls in high school should feel bad, but they do. That's how you should be feeling about yourself right now. You should be superficially cutting yourself. That's how bad you should feel.
I'm sorry. I'm putting on a show. I'm being...
that's the most honest thing he's said so far. I'm putting on a show.
I'm bloviating. I'm being mildly obnoxious, I would say.
You and I have entirely different definitions for mildly.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling myself a little bit. I'm watching this. I'm watching people who refuse to be honest. I'm watching people who have tried.
Were you watching your own video? I'm watching people. It's the fucking cognitive dissonance of this motherfucker. Jesus fucking Christ.
To lie and gaslight and manipulate people, and I'm watching them get their just desserts for it.
Manipulate people, like as you talk about these horrible things, stopping to make sure everybody knows that it's deserved before going right back into what a great guy you are and telling us how cocky you're feeling. For real? I just want to talk to people like this in real life once. Because really, guys, I am like this in real life, and I would question him right to his fucking face. Like, you really thought that out loud. You said that. And you have no problem with saying that. You don't think lightning's about to come down from the fucking sky, and you're not worried about that at all? Because I would be if I was talking like this. I don't even believe in God, and I feel like God would just be invented if I was this kind of an asshole talking like this. He would spontaneously appear just to strike me down.
And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that
maybe those gay hand movements are why you keep losing women. I'm just throwing that out there. Try not to be so gay. Women are not as turned on by it as you might think.
I don't like that that's happening to people. When bad things happen to bad people who do bad things, that's never made me cry.
That's why if you got hit by a bus, I wouldn't care. I don't want you to die from it, of course, but like if it made you permanently limp, I wouldn't care. Because you're a bad person who does bad things. You're gaslighting people. You get that, right? You were just using the term gaslighting. You're trying to make it seem like you didn't want any part of this, but you just did it because of that bitch April. No. You were looking for clout and you sold your soul for it. You put your children in danger for it. You're not a man. You're a coward. I walked away. At the beginning? Did you say no right from the start? You're a coward. I'm so happy that you're back to your old coward self. Is that what you were trying to express there with, I feel cocky, I'm back to who I used to be? The bitch who wouldn't stand up for his own kids? That's who you are. Why are you cocky about that? I'm cocky because I'm a good person who's funny, smart, shockingly good looking, with a voice that will melt panties right off women. I have a reason to be cocky. You're a douchebag. You're a cowardly douchebag. And you're cocky about that? You're a cowardly douchebag who lost his fucking wife for clout. Jesus Christ. Don't forget humble. I am the most humble person you will ever meet. That just fact. That's scientifically proven.
You know, you can't stop a rooster from crowing when the sun's come up. Or what's the Malcolm X line?
Yep. He's going to quote Malcolm X.
You know, as an old farm boy, chickens coming home to roost never made me sad. In fact, only made me glad. So, to the people complaining about me, I would just have to say, watch the show, enjoy yourselves. This is just me doing a show, just putting on a show for you. That's it. I'm not.
Again, he says it right there when he says putting on a show for you, because this is all an act. It is all an act. He's a douchebag, and he's just as cowardly and sad about himself as ever. He's trying desperately to convince himself that he's cocky. I know people like this, and I'm a pretty good judge of character. I know people like this, and they want to be cocky. They want to be self-assured. And so they'll tell you how self-assured they are while demonstrating anything but.
No, I know a lot of.
Oh, for the record, we're an hour and a half into show, and typically this is when my internet cuts out. If that happens, I will be back. I promise. So don't go anywhere.
You came from like LawTube and like, the sector and all that. I do a wacky dog and pony show,
Again, accidentally more truthful than he's been the whole time. A dog and pony show. That's a great way to describe how you're behaving with this. Just so you know, Monkey, it isn't just an act. This is Nick's act. He is emulating Nick hard. I hear what you're saying, but Nick is naturally cocky. He is naturally arrogant. This guy's not. This is the guy who used to annoy popular kids in high school. He would come around trying to get their attention by acting a fool, and they would all roll their eyes at him and walk away. That's who this is.
Do a wacky little morning show over here in the morning and sometimes in the evening. So I don't come from the same world you do. You guys come from Sirius and LawTube, and we got to break this down factually and this and that. I'm a fuck around guy.
At least Kirk doesn't hide his face behind a crappy monkey drawing like a pussy. That's because he doesn't have anybody he has to protect in his life.
I like to fuck around. That's it. So if you come from that world and you're going, well, what the fuck is this guy's deal? I'm just different from them. That's all. I was watching Legal Mindset today, and Legal Mindset goes, this Aaron guy. I like Legal Mindset, by the way. I think he does a good job with the law shit, but he doesn't get me. And that's because I'm not in his world.
It's because you're a retard. This part actually made me laugh out loud several times because him trying to think how other people might think it's something to behold.
Legal Mindset goes, this Aaron guy doing a show. He's showing a lack of integrity. Yeah. Showing a lack of integrity. Why? Because I'm doing a comedy show.
I do a comedy show and I have integrity. You don't have to give up your integrity for comedy, you fucking retard. Yeah, I have a lack of integrity because I'm telling jokes. How are those fucking related? You're an asshole is what you are. I hate people who hide behind comedy. I'm telling jokes. That's why I'm an asshole. No, you're an asshole and you're telling jokes. You can tell jokes without being an asshole. You really can. It happens all the time.
I'm doing a comedy talk show, so I'm not going to have the integrity of a guy with a suit and tie and talking about the law and shit like that. And the other...
Wearing a suit and tie and talking about the law doesn't mean you have integrity. We've watched Robert Barnes on this show. Which, by the way, guys, I found out today he had blocked me. I went to get his take on this because I've been dying to hear what this fat fuck has to say about it. He did talk about it, but it was behind his paywalled locals account because he's a pussy. Bitch had plenty to say before it came out about the kid having coke in her system, but this one it was behind a paywall. And I just went to go see what it was, and I saw it was blocked. They're like, but just because I was an asshole to you doesn't mean you have to block me. I was right. Anyway.
The thing with these law tubers is they're like this.
What the fuck is this dude talking about? Who are you? The guy on TV? He's just being stupid. And if you're talking about trolls in chat, they're just being trolls. Yeah, Barnes blocked me, and I didn't even know it. That's how long it's been since I paid any attention to Barnes. I didn't even realize it.
Aaron has said things about himself that could be mildly incriminating. You guys got to stop thinking like lawyers for a second. You guys are always thinking about dodging this and dodging that and escaping culpability and all that. I'm not doing that. That's not.
Then go down to the local police because this is him trying. Hey, you guys stop. Legal Mindset say, hey, dude, you're admitting to crimes on the air. You should stop doing that. I saw the stream he's talking about. Hey, dude, shut the fuck up. You're incriminating yourself. This can be used against you in a court. It can. And he's like, I'm not trying to dodge responsibility. Go turn yourself in. Go file a police report telling them what you did. Go ahead. I dare you.
Not what I've said from day one. If what I've done is wrong, then great. And if there are consequences because I did something wrong, I want to pay the consequences for what I've done wrong.
We have a legal system that actually will lay out those consequences for you. You can look it up. You're in Minnesota. Many of us have read the laws regarding what you did. Go pay those consequences. I don't care about the consequence. I'm a better man than you guys who worry about going to jail. I'm a better man. Go turn yourself in, bitch. I dare you. Jack, are you actually here? We are not getting your sound if you're there, bud. It's okay, Monkey. Barnes has a lot of egg on his face and has a lot of cleaning up to. Yeah. Morning, Pat. How you doing, my friend? All right, back to Mr. Holier Than Thou. I will pay the consequences. This guy doesn't get me. Okay, then why did you shut up when it first happened? You didn't start talking about it again until this. Why? That's not true. You did talk about it a little bit when you released part of the private text messages that were sent to you by Kayla. And then you immediately came out and went, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. All right, Jack, I saw your message there. Stay in here. And if whatever happens, if you can talk again, cool. If not, no big deal. If you want to just hang out in the chat, that's cool too, my friend. But anyway, this part is so annoying. I'm a better man. You guys need to stop thinking about legal consequences. Nah, motherfucker, you should start thinking about them. Maybe if you thought about it, you wouldn't have been doing drugs around your children in the first place. No, it was for my crazy morning show, so I had entertaining stories to tell.
I am not running away from any kind of consequences. I want to tell the truth. To the law people,
then how come you didn't tell the truth about any of this before it came out when Nick got arrested? You were very quiet. Anytime anybody I don't want to talk about that. No, that's not what I should be. No. Why? You don't care about the consequences. You're just trying to tell the truth. I guess it's all those Al-Anon meetings, right? Fucking dick.
That's crazy talk. To me, that's just me saying, I want to go on record. A bad thing happened here. Here's the part I played in the bad thing, and here's what I saw about the bad thing.
Drop all of the bad thing, then. You went from I remember everything to maybe it was 3 or 4 times, and maybe there were some people not doing drugs or sleeping now. Why'd you couch that, motherfucker? Why? He tries to have it both ways. Oh, he's such a slimy little douche. I don't want to say he's worse than Nick, but this is why I say he's as bad as Nick. because he's trying to pretend he's taking responsibility while still not doing so. I just want to tell the truth. Well, tell the truth, bitch. Go ahead and share all of those DMs. Let's see it all, bitch. Go out there and be truthful. No, I didn't think so.
That's all. So I think we miss each other, is what it is.
You don't miss each other. You're an asshole, and he gave you sound legal advice, and you're putting on a dog and pony show.
I think we just miss each other a little bit. Oh, by the way, we had some very funny people in the chat.
I just can't agree he's as bad as Nick. This motherfucker allowed drugs around his kids for clout. Nick did it because he's an addict. Which one's worse?
We had some people in the chat making me laugh my fucking balls off before the show. I want to see if I can find them. One guy named himself Nick Rekieta's Stash. That's very, very funny. And they're
it's not really, really funny, and especially not you laughing at it. You used to have your nose in Nick Rekieta's stash, dude. I get it. He's trying to be an entertainer. He told us that repeatedly. I just don't understand what's entertaining. There's nothing about. We're done watching this asshole. We'll probably be wrapping up here shortly, but I don't understand what he was trying to accomplish here, other than proving he's a douchebag. Other than proving he's a douche. And if that was his goal, he did it 100%, man. You proved to me that you are a complete asshole who should keep his fucking mouth shut probably about everything. I haven't seen you talk about everything, but just what I've seen you talk about, you're kind of retarded. And maybe they should bring Nick up on charges for giving drugs to a retarded person. I don't know if that's a law or not, but I would support it because you're clearly retarded. All right. What should we do for the end of the show? Oh, let's talk about this chick. Since we're talking about stupid people tonight, that's the theme of the show. This girl, oh my God. Da-da-da-da-da. Come up on the screen. Sorry, that's my bad internet. There we go.
Men are like, we want a traditional woman. We want a woman at home, taking care of me, taking care of the kids, cooking, cleaning, doing all this. And women are like, have done the feminism. They've done the 9 to 5. They're all broke. They're unhappy. They're like, why are we working so hard? This sucks.
Okay, we just got to stop right there. The women have realized that the feminist thing sucks. It sucks. That's what she said. It's not like it was, oh no, oh God, no, modern woman. Oh, wait, just wait. So the men want a traditional woman, and the women realize feminism sucks. And then she has this to say.
And then they're like, okay, we accept your terms. And then men are like, okay. And then we're like, okay, so that's going to take a lot of money to have this life. So
define a lot of money. This part is important that she specifically, it's going to take a lot of money. All right. If I'm going to stay at home, I need to see the dollar bills, y'all.
Are you going to be a provider full time? Are you going to give me and the children the lives that we want? And then
not the life we need, the life we want. It's the most telling part of everything she says here. But are you going to give me the life I want?
As soon as women turn it on men and accept, men are like, oh my gosh, you're just all gold diggers.
Can you guys believe anybody would call her a gold digger? Can you believe that? This woman who like, how much you gonna give me? How much you gonna give me? They turn around and call us gold diggers. When you're gold digging, that's fucking weird. Fuck. I laughed so hard when I saw that shit.
And then it's like, so what do you want from us? There's no winning. Yeah, we do want to be at home with the kids. And yeah, if we do that, you have to provide, sweetheart.
Yeah, provide, not spoil, not pamper. Provide food, clothing, shelter. No. I need my mani pedi, and I need some pumpkin spice lattes as soon as they're available. And I need to have my hair done. What have you done for me lately, Eddie? I mean, for fuck's sake. Fuck, man. How can you be this big of a joke and not understand it? Were you Aaron Imholte in a different life? Oh my God. What do you want from us? You not to be a gold digging whore. I mean, you're literally talking about being a whore, basically. You're a whore. I will give you this puss as long as you give me enough money. That's what you just said. Why do they call me a gold digger? All I want is all the money. Jesus Christ. Working for it sucks. That's why we had to highlight the feminist part at the beginning. We realized that working for it sucks. We just need all of it given to us because we want to stay home. Oh, God. How can people be so self-unaware? How can you be like that and get through life at all? I don't understand. Maybe I just spend too much time thinking about myself. I am rather conceited. But seriously, how dare you? How dare you call me a gold digger? Now show me the money. She's fucking Tom Cruise screaming into the phone, show me the money. Why you call me a gold digger? Oh, for fuck's sake. I know I had other stupid things to talk about today. Fugi pointed this out on Twitter, and it does deserve to be talked about. It's been 1 year since Mama JF disappeared. 1 year since JF drives his potato into the woods and comes back and been like, what? She just wanted to go live in the woods. How, Canada, why have you not arrested this man? Anyway, we really haven't talked about the cheap fake thing, and it deserves more time. Yeah, we'll just wait on that. We're going to watch this because I told you guys this was going to happen. I told you that this was going to be their major push. I've been telling you because it's the only thing they have. It's the only thing the left has when it comes to fighting Donald Trump. And look, guys, I don't care if you like Trump or not on this. It's not even about Trump right here. It's about being lied to blatantly.
Moment with Donald Trump over the weekend where he was talking about the White House doctor, the former White House doctor who was there when Biden was actually vice president, and said this about him.
I think you should take a cognitive test like I did. I took a cognitive test and I aced it. Doc Ronnie Johnson. Does everyone know Ronnie Johnson, congressman from Texas? He was the White House doctor. And he said I was the healthiest president he feels in history. So I liked him very much.
I mean, his name is obviously Dr. Ronnie Jackson. Everyone remembers him from the White House briefings. He's now in Congress and a big supporter of Trump's. But a moment like that, is not treated the same as a Biden moment.
Of course not.
Okay, this has been a big talking point in this thing. Trump called somebody whose last name is Johnson or is Jackson Johnson. See, it's easy to mix those two up. It's very easy to mix those two up. He said Johnson instead of Jackson. There's that moment. How come it's not treated like a Biden moment? Oh, a couple of reasons. One, that's a simple mistake, and you don't have a string of them. You can't show me that and, like, I don't know, asking a man in a wheelchair to stand up or looking in the crowd for somebody who died 6 months ago or, getting lost on the lawn of the fucking White House. He screwed up the names. He didn't say that Mexico's next to fucking Israel. I mean, they're not even close to the same. How is it that that's not treated like a Biden moment? Well, the fact that we call them Biden moments should give you all the clue you need there. We don't call them Trump moments because they're not moments. He had a moment where he mixed up two very similar names. And you're acting like he called the guy Batman, for fuck's sake. He called him Batman. How come nobody's talking about that? I would understand that. He didn't. He mixed up Johnson and Jackson. They're not that different. They contain mostly the same letters. Biden got lost on the White House lawn repeatedly. But no, don't believe your eyes. Look. Donald Trump, he's lost it. He's just like Joe Biden. That's not the win you think it is. All you're doing there is pointing out to people that Joe Biden has a lot of those moments. You called it a Biden moment yourself.
That's never going to play on Fox News as Donald Trump being confused, having cognitive issues. It's just not going to be portrayed like that. And
the other day there was a photo going around of Donald Trump walking off after a rally. The rally is where was that at? It was in Florida. It was during the third presidential debate for the GOP. And it shows him holding Don Jr.'s hand. Don Jr.'s beside the ramp that the walkway. It's an elevated walkway that Trump is leaving from. And it was portrayed as Donald Trump having to be helped off the stage. He couldn't even walk normal. How come nobody's talking about this? Well, many of us went and looked and found it, and it's actually a touching moment. Don Jr. gave a speech at the beginning of this little rally, and so he was there with his dad. And as he's walking off, he reaches up his hand. His dad just reaches down and touches his hand, and then takes it away and continues walking. There's a reason they showed that in a still footage. We don't have to do that with Biden. I can show you the video of him getting lost in the White House garden. It's not out of context. The motherfucker couldn't find the giant white house. The giant white house that, from his perspective, took up a whole side of the horizon. Those are not even close to the same thing. When you have to lie about Trump's cognitive decline, that's why it's not on Fox News. Not that I think Fox News would necessarily hype that up anyway. Besides, they are clearly on Biden's side. They released a poll today saying that Biden is leading Trump. And part of that poll shows that 68% of people think that the economy is shit. 68% think it's shit. But Biden and Trump, it's a dead heat, 50-48. Biden is beating Trump. That's Fox News. So could we please stop pretending that Fox News is so conservative? They're not. They're CNN light when it comes to their bias. They're clearly on the left now. But see, they're never going to show that. All right? Look. They're never going to show this one moment where he mixed up two names and pretend that it's some kind of cognitive decline. Because it's not, dumbass. All you said there is Fox News is more honest than you are. For fuck's sake. No, they're just never going to show that to you. Because that one actually is meaningless. I've done this before with Biden, that when he's mixed up names, it's like I mix up names all the time. I talk for a living and I mix up names all the time. It happens. That's not why people think, if that's all Biden did, it would just be a joke that he's lost his mind. But that's not all he's done. We've seen this motherfucker just stop mid-sentence and his arms just kind of slightly raise and whatever. The dude has lost it. And you guys are pretending mixing up names like that is the same thing. And bitching that other people aren't on board with that. This happened. This happened because of the Her report and then the Wall Street Journal report. The Wall Street Journal report came out. We didn't talk about it much on the show. This came out, a week and a half ago. And they said in private, everybody's talking about how Joe's lost it. Now, they didn't use names, as I recall. So it's, anonymous sources say Joe Biden's losing it. But this worried them so much that they full court press, Donald Trump has lost his mind. all you're doing, because you guys always do it in relation to people saying Joe Biden had, is reminding people that Joe Biden's lost his mind. And we can look at Trump and Biden next to each other, and we're going to do that in a week when the debate comes. We're going to get to see the two of them together. And if you think Donald Trump has lost it, and then you look over at Joe Biden, are you really going to be like, oh, he looks really good?
I think what the Biden folks take issue with as well is, in their eyes, the mainstream media as well focuses way too much on Biden's age and lets Donald Trump.
You almost took me back to my Norfolk days there. Are you really going to pretend that the media has been all over Biden and his age? And by the way, it's not his age, it's his cognitive ability. The media has been hiding this since at least 2019. And there's evidence that they were starting it in 2015 when it was still up in the air whether or not he was going to run against Hillary. That's when suddenly his stutter becomes a big issue. Now, there is a story from like 2004 or 2008, I forget which mentions Biden's stutter, but it is the only other thing you're going to find about it until 2015, when suddenly it became, oh no, he's got this horrible stutter, which is also, if you go back and watch video, you can see the decline has already started. But in 2019, when me and Jack are sitting here saying this motherfucker has lost it, where we had to explain to Polly we weren't making jokes, that we really thought he was in cognitive decline, that there was something seriously wrong with his brain. The media wasn't talking about that. When he's putting a lid on his campaign appearances for the day at 9 o'clock in the morning in a presidential election, nobody was questioning his fucking cognitive ability in the press. What are you talking about? I think the Biden administration is upset about how much attention is given to his age. Not enough has been given to his age, not even close. Even now, it's not. All of the media coverage is to either tell us he's not actually in decline or look, Trump is. And you guys are still running cover for him.
Trump get off with these gaffes without ever questioning his cognitive fitness. There was that Wall Street Journal story that came out.
He got lost in his own yard repeatedly. Stop bringing up Trump's cognitive issues. Lost in his yard. And this isn't like he owns a big sprawling manor and there's 20 acres and he got lost in the back 10. Motherfucker got lost on a perfectly manicured lawn of a giant mansion you could see from where he was standing.
Or 2 weeks ago, where that questioned whether Biden was fit mentally to run the country, and said that some of these, there have been questions about this, but there have been a lot of former Trump officials who have raised the same.
Nobody has raised the same issues with Trump in the same way. You've had a couple of people who've come out and pointed to Trump's behavior, I'm using air quotes, which is emblematic of Trump's behavior his entire life. Him being a smug, arrogant bastard. It made us question his cognitive ability. He's always been like that. Unless you want to show me that Joe Biden has been getting lost in his yard for the last 60 years, I don't want to hear it. I really don't. But he did say it right there. This Wall Street Journal article came out 2 weeks ago. That's what did it. That's why you're seeing this big push right now. And they're going to keep doing it because they have to convince you that there is nothing wrong with Joe Biden because he's their guy. He's their only hope. Help us, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. That's what he is, their hope for the future. Kamala's not going to do it. Gavin Newsom's not. None of their bench is going to lead the team. Their go-to guy is quarterback Joe. The truck driving Puerto Rican black dude. Jesus Christ. They'll just blatantly lie to you. Just blatantly lie to you. Donald Trump mixed up two names. And it's not, they start with the same letter and they both end with son. Johnson Jackson. And I love how Caitlin Collins there. I think that's who it is. Whoever that retarded bitch is with the weird doggy smile. Everybody knows his name's Jackson. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. I bet you if you asked 100 random people from that district who their congressman is, they couldn't name him. But because they have to embarrass Trump. And again, this isn't to take a shot at Trump. Don't mistake that. It's the consequence of what they're doing. It's the method they're taking. But that's not the purpose here. The purpose here isn't to make Trump look bad. It's to make Biden look not as bad. And yeah, it has the effect of trying to make Trump look bad, but it's not the goal. The goal is to make the retard in chief seem normal. Anyway, guys, we're at the 2-hour mark. Jack does not have good internet tonight, and I can only laugh at Aaron Imholte so long before even I get bored with it. So we're going to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for all the support you give us all the time. It's 3:00 in the morning when I started this, and almost 300 of you are here watching us. And I appreciate it more than I could ever express to you. You guys are the best audience in the world. I will bite anyone who says different. I hope you guys have a great night. Jack, drop your links into chat, bro. So everybody go check that out. All the links are in the description too. Jack has several channels. Go check those out. Everybody take care of yourselves. We love you. We'll see y'all next time. Oh, hey, P-Dog. Yeah, you did miss it. Have a good night, my friend. Everybody have a great night. We'll see y'all next time. I'm an entertainer. I'm doing a show. I can't have any integrity. No, that's stupid as shit.